toes. I can just snap, finger tapping rhythm to do. I'm on my eyes a twinkle, toes a tingle. So don't stop complaining and I'm blaming, putting rocks in the shoe. And whatever you do, don't start no stuff.
Hello, I'm Noel Lee, sometimes known as the Head Monster, and here we are in Studio G in Burbank, California, where we are mixing down the latest collaborative album between George Benson and Al Jarreau. This is an extremely special album, not only because of the extraordinary talent that's on this album, but the collaboration between two jazz giant greats. And lastly, because of the phenomenal sound in HDS, high definition surround. It brings this album to life.
Monster high definition surround sound.
Well, you can reach in and touch the guitar. Yeah, you can reach in and feel the singer's lips. Yeah, it's that kind of depth in the music.
The goal is to make sure that the listener has the feel of all the instruments around them.
When we wanted the best, we went to the best.
When you listen to HDS high definition surround, it's like the difference between black and white and color. You are in the middle of the band.
It gives it another dimension that you didn't think existed.
Yeah.
And if people think that there's a small difference, you have to experience it because it is so different than what we know.
It's like being in the place where the music is being played. It's like it's four-dimensional.
Right from the very beginning of first tracking session, it was so exciting, and the music was so good, the feel was so good from these great musicians, and it's carried right through. I mean, we hear that now when we sit and listen to the final mix. You can hear that excitement and great musicianship.
Stanley Clark came along to give it up. Yes, Patrice Rushen came along to give it up. Herbie Hancock came and laid hands. We did.
In his setup that I was just talking about, and ding-dong, ding-dong, took George to a different place. You hear George in a different way than you ever heard. George is just burning and screaming through there, and it begins in such a settled, quiet way out of what Herbie has set up.
He made the album a must-have for anybody who likes improvised music and who's a jazz lover. They gotta have that performance.
Herbie Hancock just came in and wore it out.
The vocals surround you and envelop you. The instruments are punchy. They're in your face.
Smoking, Larry!
We're getting there. Keep trying the bass part and see if we can make it work.
5.1 surround mixing absolutely lets the audience hear the music as the artist wants it to be heard.
Sounds like George and Al are just standing there, right with their microphones in your living rooms.
How it put me right in the middle of the music. Everything came alive.
And with this high definition surround, you can actually do that.
Long come to
Did that. I didn't mean to go that far out. Right away.
That was good.
I wish high def surround sound could give you the picture of George's face when Paul was in the studio singing. George is watching him. I saw George at 5 years old. It is absolutely true. I've never seen that look on his face before or after, and it lasted for a half hour. For a half hour, just wonderful glow in George's face. Yeah, that was a moment. And George says, "Come on and sing on this." Come on and sing on this. And Paul says, "Man, you got a lot of cheek, don't you? I'm over here doing my own album. He asked me to sing it."
2 days later, he just shows up in the studio. He's ready to sing.
He said, "I got time for one take, George." And I said, "That's all. Now I'll take it. I'll take one take." And he did it, and it sounded so incredible, but it had a little, we needed that extra take just to have some things to dress up. And I said, "Could you do one more?"
The diplomat.
Could you? And he did one more.
Nailed it. Two performances, and it's really a high point on the album.
The day that we met about the record, George walked in and said, "Al, there's some things that if we do, people are going to fall on the floor."
You know, bless Noel, because we need more people like him. We need people that care about the quality of audio, because it's kind of going in the other direction, really. I mean, there's nothing wrong with MP3s and the compressed digital audio, because it makes music accessible to many people, and it's really saving our industry. But also, on the other end, technically, we can do so much more, and it's great that Noel cares about that he's really concerned with the quality of audio and presenting it to to people in the best way that you can possibly hear it. And there's not too many people worried about that. And I just think that it's great that he cares.
It sparkles.
It's magic.
This album has really been a labor of love for everybody involved. And for me personally, since George has been a friend of mine for over 20 years, to be able to highlight George and his artistry, along with Al, in a setting that has never been recorded before in the history of George Benson recordings. I hope that you'll enjoy this extraordinary recording and this extreme collaboration, first time in jazz history, put down in HDS surround for your listening pleasure.
Oh, give it up. This is my story. Give it up. And over the story, giving it up for love. Give it up. This is my story.